The US and China may be inching toward finding a solution to their long-standing trade conflict. After high-level meetings in Kuala Lumpur during the ASEAN summit, the US said the two countries had found a path forward and that this week's upcoming summit between President Xi and Trump in South Korea would be the moment to cement the deal. The framework of the agreement being worked out carries several major features. First, the US has threatened to impose a sweeping 100% tariff on Chinese imports effective the 1st of November. That threat is now being held in abeyance. US officials have publicly described it as effectively off the table. Second, China's newly announced export licensing regime for rare earth minerals used in everything from electric vehicles to missiles would be delayed by a year, giving global supply chains breathing room.
And I think we've reached a substantial framework for the two leaders who will meet in Korea next Thursday. So, on the table, the president had given me maximum leverage when he threatened 100% tariffs if the Chinese imposed their rare earth global export controls. So I think we have averted that so that the tariffs will be averted.
Beyond the headline numbers, the negotiations cover an unusually wide set of issues. Chinese purchase of US soybeans, which have stalled in recent months. US port fees applied to Chinese shipping vessels. The fate of the social media platform TikTok, and whether it will be forced to transfer US operations out of Chinese control, and even US concerns about fentanyl precursor and Chinese trade with Russia amid the war in Ukraine. For Washington, the appeal is clear. The US has locked itself into a high-stakes confrontation with China that threatens everything, from microchips to mineral supply to agriculture. The change in US stance, which was in attack mode and now has moved from confrontation to managing and structuring competition. For Beijing, the framework offers a path to ease the burden of US tariff escalation and buy time to reorganize its own export controls while preserving its broader industrial policy. But the Chinese side has been more cautious, describing only a preliminary consensus and emphasizing that any deal still needs internal government reviews. The timing matters. The world is watching as the summit between Trump and Xi, scheduled for the APEC meeting in South Korea this week, becomes the decisive moment. If they sign off, it would mark the first major US-China trade deal of this era and perhaps the most significant since the early 2010s. If they don't, both sides risk slipping back into rapidly escalating tariffs, supply chain shocks, and global economic instability. The implications reach far beyond Beijing and Washington. Companies in Europe, India, Southeast Asia will likely welcome a pause in trade escalation. For example, global manufacturers depend on rare earth minerals and have been jittery as China's export controls have threatened to disrupt the production of smartphones, electric vehicles, and semiconductors. The US pulling back from its threat of 100% tariffs also reassures multinational firms that global trade may not spiral out of control. Yet significant hurdles still remain. The framework described is not yet a signed deal. Both governments must translate broad agreement into legal commitments, tariff schedules, and enforceable export control rules. China must carry out its licensing reform. The US must pledge not to trigger its tariff threat. Domestic politics in both countries could derail the process as well. US farm states want clear assurances on soybean sales. Chinese industrial groups are wary of renewed US pressure on chips and tech. If this succeeds, it could provide a blueprint for future US-China engagement. Think of a managed competition model where trade friction is contained rather than left unchecked. And if it fails, the escalation path looms large with punishing consequences for the global economy. For more such stories, subscribe to SNG News, hit the like button and follow for more news updates.